Yo guys, what is up? Good morning. Today I'm gonna bring you the Pokemon Auction League game and the team analysis. That's the thing I'm gonna start off with. First is the Brighton Bronzors, and I'm gonna quickly show you the first one on the team because I'm not gonna spoil you every single one of the team before I talk about them. But yeah, I'm gonna be facing the Brighton Bronzors. The coach of their team is known as Evan or King Evan Lad. Links to his social medias will be there in the description below, of course. So yeah, check him out if you want to see the battle on his side. I think he's gonna upload it, I'm not sure actually. He has not faced his week 1 opponent yet at this point, so I'm not really sure how he battles or how good he is or whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna have to see that for myself. Basically, I don't want to underestimate him because underestimating my opponent has cost me before in other leagues and other shits. So I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna expect him to be the most amazing battler ever. So oh, that's not the right thing. I want to have my notes up, but yeah. The team that he can potentially bring, which will hopefully be on the screen shown by me, consists of Armaldo, Hexerus, Hydreigon, Mega Venusaur, Emboar, Mesprit, Delphox, Cobalion, Raikou, Florges, and Mamoswine. So quite a few threats on the team, but nothing I cannot deal with, I don't think. I think I have a decent matchup, especially with his Latios that you see on the screen. I think that can run through his team. Although, yeah, he does have, he can definitely have a few checks to my team as well, and some win conditions that do scare me a little bit. Although I do think I have the team matchup advantage, so that's gonna be something that's hopefully gonna tip the balance in my favor. And yeah, I think that's the saying, but I don't know. Also, by the way, I don't know if you noticed, but I have a new webcam, so hopefully the quality of the webcam has improved and you can see my face, even though that's probably not gonna be a good thing, but you can probably see my face a little bit better, I hope. But yeah, other than that, I'm gonna go quickly onto the team, I guess. Well, first, the things on his team that I kind of see as potential flaws. He does not really have the best forms of hazard removal, as the only thing on his team that does get hazard removal is Armaldo with the Rapid Spin. And I do have a Gourgeist which usually doesn't care about Armaldo, and also Armaldo is unlikely gonna come to the match because it's an Armaldo. He has a few potential sweepers in Swords Dance, Cobalion, in Dragon Dance, Hexerus, and in a few Calm Mind sweepers in Mesprit, Delphox, Raikou, Florges. So I'm gonna have to have checks to those. Few forms of priority which scare me, but at least which can potentially threaten me. That's Mamoswine's Ice Shot and Emboar's Sucker Punch. I guess also maybe Armaldo's Aqua Jet, but that's not gonna be a thing. And also something I did find on his team which I'm not gonna use. He had 2 levitating ground immunities, and that burns only ground immunities in Mesprit and in Hydreigon. So I was gonna have, instead of Arcanine on his team, I was gonna have a Sog with the choice, with the Mold Breaker, I mean, with the EQs, because he had no real switch-ins to it except for his Pokemons in Mega Venusaur and potentially Mesprit. So that's why I opted to go for not that set in particular. But that could be a thing that I can use against him in my advantage, because he does, like I said, only have 2 immunities and that's about it. And he has 4 weaknesses, so I can definitely use the Hidden Power Ground, for example, as coverage, which I'm not even sure if I did that or not. But, anyway, the team that I'm expecting him to bring consists of a double Dragon Core with Hydreigon and Hexerus. Hydreigon can potentially be Choice Scarf to revenge kill some things on my team, and also to outspeed the Scarf Crocodile potentially. Also works against Latios, works against the Jirachi, which is, I think, is why he's gonna run a Choice Scarf Hydreigon. But if he doesn't, he can definitely be a Life Orb variant for my Clefable with Iron Tail or Flash Cannon to just try and deal with Clefable better. I think he's gonna run a Dragon Dancing Hexerus. Maybe it's gonna be a Life Orb variant, maybe that's gonna be the Wall Breaker type of Mon. But I do think it's gonna be running Poison Jab if he brings it, of course, with Clefable, and Earthquake for the Jirachi, and like a Dragon move. And like, they're gonna have Lumberry because I do have a Thunderous Incarnate, which can basically T-Wave if he doesn't have Lumberry. And yeah, that's basically what I'm expecting him to bring. I do expect him to bring Mamoswine, because Mamoswine's Ice Shot is definitely a threat to Latios, and also his his stabs are pretty difficult to switch into. As you can see on my team, I don't have anything that resists both of them, or the only thing that's neutral to both of them is Clefable. So yeah, I'm expecting him to bring Rhyquinn because Rhyquinn is the fastest man on his team and he can run a few sets that can be threatening versus me. For example, the Calm Mind set, but also the Assault Vest set can be annoying, and the Choice Spec set, the Choice Scarf set can actually pull through against my Scarf Crocodile, which I, spoilers, have on the team. But yeah, that's the Rhyquinn that I'm expecting to bring. I do definitely think he's gonna run that because, like I said, it's his fastest mon, and it also checks the Thundurus Incarnate again. So yeah, it's very likely for him to run that. I did have a Thundurus Eye on the team at first with Hidden Power Ground, but I opted to switch that out. So yeah. Anything else? Yeah, Mega Venusaur is gonna come, I think. It's not the best versus my team, I don't think, but it does check a few months that he might need Mega Venusaur for. So I do think he's gonna run it, mainly because it is a Mega Venusaur and it's pretty unusual to not see it be brought to a game. If he doesn't bring it, that's also fine. It's not something that I'm really afraid of, so yeah. I do think he's gonna run Cobalion or Florges in the last spot, because Cobalion is really helpful for him for getting Rocks up, because his only Rock up, which I mentioned as of now, was Mamoswine. But Cobalion is also nice for the Sword Sensing and for the Iron Heading, and yeah, can potentially just pull through against my team if I'm not careful. And it could be Florges as well, because Florges deals with some mons on my team, mainly the Latios, even though it doesn't really deal with Latios, not this Latios set in particular anyway. But yeah, he might need it as a Cleric, because I do think it's only Cleric if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure actually. But he might use it for the Cleric purposes, which is the set I'm expecting to bring if he is gonna run the Florges. He might run Hidden Power Ground, because the ground and parry coverage is nice versus my team, versus every team in general really, but it does help with switch-ins in Arcanine and Jirachi, which I, as you can see on the team, I do have. But yeah, my team, as you can see on the screen, is built around this Latios. It's a Draco, Meteor, Psycho, Calm Mind Latios, Roost Latios. The speed is there to outspeed a Cobalion. At first I wanted to outspeed base 100 for myself, in case you wanted to outspeed creep those. But then again, I didn't know how good my opponent is. It's difficult, so I'm not gonna assume that he's gonna speed creep like the pros. So I'm gonna just run enough speed to outspeed Cobalion, because yeah, that's I think necessary maybe. This was a different set for a while. I wanted to have Substitute on this really badly, because this helped versus Emboar. Sucker Punch. This helped versus Venusaur setting up against it, because Lead Seeds and Sleep Powders don't hit it. Helped against a lot of mons on his team in general, basically. But in the end, I opted to go for Dual Stab. I might still change it, I don't think I will though, but Dual Stab is really nice versus team. And I don't need to set up for it to be useful, because the Draco Meteor helps with Hexorus and Hydreigon, which would check the Mono Psyshock one, or even counter one the Hydreigon in this case. And the Draco also helps versus Mesprit, which really cannot touch Latios, I don't think, but still. And yeah, it's gonna be nice damage versus anything on the team that I want instant damage against. So yeah, that's why I do have Draco Meteor on that set instead of the Substitute Psyshock set. I did have, like I said, Substitute Psyshock on the set at first, because I do have something to deal with Hydreigon. That is if he is not Choice Scarf Hydreigon. Because if he's Choice Scarf Hydreigon, he can outspeed me and do some damage against Jirachi. But my Jirachi set is built to also deal with that a little bit. It's a Calm Mind, Substitute Psychic and Moonblast set. It has to be shiny, because I'm assuming Moonblast yeah, is like a specific event thing. So it has to be shiny. But I don't think my opponent's gonna know that a shiny Jirachi is gonna carry Moonblast per se. If he does, then props to him, but I didn't know that at first, so I don't think my opponent will either, unless he's like a lord. But basically, Calm Mind, Substitute Psychic, Moonblast deals with a lot of his team. As I previously mentioned, he doesn't really have the best switch-ins to this combination of moves, because his Psychic resists and immunities are decently weak to bulky Psychic types, so yeah. But yeah, like I said, this is gonna be the Substitute set. This can potentially set up against Venusaur if he's not like Knockoff or Earthquake. I do think he's gonna run the. I do think he's gonna run Knockoff. Well, he has a lot of moves that a Venusaur might need. like Giga Drain for the Clobitzer, which he might not fear, so he might not run it, but Sledge Bomb for the Fable, Knockoff to hit the Latios and Jirachi, and Synthesis, Sleep Powder Leech Seed, something along those lines, maybe. But yeah, that's about it. But I do think I can set up against it potentially. Also, this outspeeds a lot of his team, so it's really nice for that. It can deal with his Hexorus if he's not set up with Hexorus yet. It can deal with Hydreigon if he's not scored for Dragon, and if he is, then he might need to revenge me with it, and I have a substitute up, potentially. So yeah, that is of course if he doesn't bring Delphox, or if his Delphox is already gone, because Delphox does check this set. But for the Delphox do have something on the following thing. This is Scarfrook, which I think I already spoiled. But yeah, that's why I don't really fear Delphox, unless he is scarfed himself, but I'll come down to that in a bit, I guess. Command Substitute Psychic Moonblast hopefully can destroy his whole team. It can set up against a lot of monsters in his team, like I said, Florges as well, Venusaur, Mesprit, and it just scares out a lot of his team, because it does usually carry T-Wave or Iron Head or something along those lines, so he might fear it, and he might just switch out while I set up a substitute and boost myself to the victory. And that's the whole plan for Jirachi. Nothing too specific, nothing too difficult, I don't think. Substitute is really nice because like teams like these are pretty weak to offensive substitute mons, as they kind of lack switch into, for example, Latios as well. He lacks switch into them, so if he wants to switch out, I can set up a substitute and I can just potentially just destroy 2 parts of his team, or 2 mons in his team, instead of just the 1 mon, which I would have taken down if it wasn't for the substitute. So yeah, the substitute is gonna be on Jirachi this time, which I do think can also perform the same role, a little bit less because it doesn't have the instant power that Latios does, but yeah. Anyhow, on to the next mon, and it's gonna be Scarf Crocodile, like I previously mentioned. It's there to Pursuit Trap his bulky Psychic types, or his Psychic types in general, which they aren't the best against my team, but I do wanna, for example, like a Delphox, I do wanna Pursuit Trap it if I am able to, and I wanna kill it. It's also nice for Cobalion, it outspeeds and can just get massive damage up with EQ, unless he's running the Magnetrize or the Shukaberry. It's nice for the Raikou, unless he's Choice-Scarfed himself, but I don't think he will be Choice-Scarfed Raikou. He might, it's not the worst, but I don't think he will, because it's already his fastest one on his team, and he kind of needs to switch up moves and shit. So yeah, this is a great check versus offense, I think. It does outspeed his Scarfed Hydreigon if he brings it, or Scarfed Hexorus, or the Dragon Dancing Hexorus, which is kind of annoying. But for those mons, of course, I have something in the back, like at the following month, so which is Clefable. But yeah, this is kind of very simple, very standard. Knockoff, Pursuit, EQ are steps, which are obviously useful as shit. And Superpower is there for the Hydreigon, because this would resist the steps if I didn't have Superpower. Also can potentially just kill the Mamoswine if he is not Chocoberry, or if he's gotten some damage, I don't know. This is not the one I expect to sweep with, but if his Venusaur is, for example, down, or if his Raikou is down, then Florges is down, then I might be able to pull through, and I might be able to win with Scarf Crocodile, so who knows. Other than that, the Clefable, and Clefable is a check to his Dragon types. I had a berry on this at first. First of all, this was Babiri Berry, but if he is the Life Orb Wall Breaker type of set, then I'm not really scared of it. I mean, Crocodile, Jirachi, and Latios all deal with that set specifically. So yeah, that's why I opted to go for leftovers instead. I had Cambuur Berry at first as well for the Hexorus. But I do think that the leftovers are gonna be the best item in overall, to just give him the longevity with the Wish Protect, because this Clefable is bulky enough to just survive hits from the Lumberry Hexorus, which I'm expecting, and I can just Moonblast the damage off, and yeah, go from there. So I'm unaware because I don't want to get swept with by the Hexorus, for example. Something that really scares me a little bit still, that threatens me, is the potentially flinching Cobalion, so I don't necessarily check the Swords Dance Cobalion if he brings that set. Other than that, this guy kind of deals with Mamoswine. This is my only like real switch into Mamoswine. If I unless I predict him to go for a ground move, I can switch to Gourgeist, or an Ice move, I can switch into Arcanine for example. But yeah. This can survive Life Orbed Mamswine's hits decently well, I want to say, especially with the Wish Protect. It's not like I can switch in, especially if Rocks Erupt, then I cannot switch in. But with the leftovers and with the Wish Protect, then I can recover a lot of health and can deal the damage with Moonblast and yeah, go on from there. So I'll keep it in check, and also I think I do have more Wishes and Protects than he has EQs or Ice Cold Crashes. If he does have Ice Cold Crash, he can fence me, of course, so that's a potential that's gonna be a little bit annoying. But yeah, that's about the whole Clefable set. It's gonna be a check to some mons on Steam, and that's all it's gonna do. He does have a few switch-ins into, for example, the Florges, but if he's a Claro Florges, he doesn't really threaten me. Also, his Venusaur can switch in, but like I said, his Venusaur is not the worst mon to deal with on my team. If he has to sleep out there, then he can potentially get something to sleep. It's like again with Jirachi, which is my dedicated switch-in, unless the matchup grants me otherwise. But yeah, I do think that Clefable can just deal with those mons pretty well, and it's gonna be my only defensive mon. Well, no, actually not. I do have Arcanine, which is defensive. But that's gonna be my main defensive mon, which is gonna be useful. It also checks his Calm Mind Sweepers in Raikou and Florges, in Delphox, in Mesprit, so yeah. Next up is gonna be Gourgeist, and Gourgeist is an offensive Gourgeist Life Orb, Shadow Sneak, Seed Bomb, Will-O-Wisp, and Explosion. This was a little bit of a rushed set, mainly because I like the speed here, because it outspeeds his Hexers and his Hydreigon, which is kind of the mons that I built a team around, I guess, that were kind of centralizing mons with Dragon Spam. But yeah, this Shadow Sneak is nice for the Delphox, which I don't know how much damage it actually does, but it's nice. The only thing I really cannot touch is Cobalion, but yeah, he cannot really touch me either, so yeah. And if he's not substitute, I can below his bit, so that's also nice. If he is substitute on Cobalion, that could be a problem though, but we'll see. We'll see if I can play around that, who knows. But I've got Explosion because I just want to do some good damage to something on his team, and he doesn't really have the best switch-ins to this, or the best answers to this. I think the best one is Cobalion, but like I said, he does need a substitute to avoid getting Will-O-Wisp, so... and Explosion does a lot of damage to his whole team. I can just take a mon down, and the mon that I'm fearing, I might get taken out with Explosion, I guess. So yeah, that's nice. That's the whole role of Gourgeist this battle. So yeah, that's about it. I don't think I have anything else to say. The Seed Bomb is there. It's kind of nice for the Mamoswine. Shadow Sneak is nice for the Delphox, and the Will-O-Wisp is nice for the Cobalion, and everything else gets this Bob to an Explosion. So yeah. Last but not least is going to be a defensive Arcanine, mixed defensive actually. The mixed defense, this is able to live a Life Orb Hydreigon's Draco Meteor, which is not really what I needed it for, but it's a fun fact which I wanted to state. But this is basically my check to a Raikou if he like Volt Switches freely or whatever. I mean, I kind of wanted to check it with a Crocodile, but if he's not choice locked, or if he is choice locked for example, then I want something else to switch into it, and that's gonna be my Arcanine. The Flower Blitz, Extreme Speed, Monoxen, Will-O-Wisp set is gonna be the set that I'm going with. The E-Speeds just make sure that that he doesn't get substitutes up against me with his Wall Breakers or with his Sweepers, and in Delphox, in Emboar, in Raikou. So yeah, that's why I have Flare Blitz and E-Speed basically. This is also, I have the Shuka Berry because Mamoswine is a little bit of a threat still. And I want to Will-O-Wisp it, so I can potentially switch in on an Ice Cold Crash and then just survive the incoming Earthquake because of the Shuka Berry. I think unless there's Stealth Rocks, if Stealth Rocks are up, then I might die to the incoming EQ without the Shuka Berry, but if Stealth Rocks aren't up on his side, or on my side I mean, then I think I'll live it regardless because of the sheer bulk of Arcanine with the Intimidate, so but that's not really important right now. Armando, Hexers, Hydreigon, Venusaur, Emboar, Mesprit, Delphox, Cobalion, and Raikou, Florges, and Mamoswine. I do think this team has them in check. So that's gonna be the team analysis part for now. Let me know in the description, in the comment section down below what you think of the team, and if you think it's gonna be able of defeating my opponent with my help, or if you think that I oversaw something, overlooked something, and it has a massive flaw in it. And yeah, that's gonna be it, I think. Check out my opponent's links in the description down below, because that's always cool to do. Say hi from me. And yeah, if you enjoyed this part of the video, then definitely leave a like, and hopefully see you in a bit. It's probably gonna be like 5 seconds for you, but 12 hours for me when I am ready for my battle. So be right back. Yo guys, what is up? I'm back, and I'm gonna bring you the battle versus Dracopion, King Ebenlad, or coach of the Brighton Bronzors. I played this game about 20 minutes ago, so yeah, unfortunately he was an hour late due to the arranged time, so I am pretty restricted in my times, but I'm gonna try to do this as in-depth as possible without losing too much time. So yeah, if you saw my team analysis part of the video, which I definitely incline you to watch, then you saw that I kind of didn't pick the team correctly. Mainly the things that I really feared, or well, not really feared necessarily, but I really expected him to bring over the Mesprit and over the Armaldo were gonna be Rhyquinn and what else? Let me quickly check my notes. Oh, Hydreigon, by the way. Yeah, Rhyquinn and Hydreigon, those were the two monsters that I really expected him to bring. Also, I kind of expected him to bring some Bulk and Venusaur Floaches, either one of the two, but he didn't do that either. So, but Mesprit and Armaldo weren't the monster I expected him to bring. So, kind of cool on his part, I guess. Not really sure what they're gonna do on his team, but you'll see in a match, of course. My lead, I figured that Orcanon was gonna be the best lead. If he was gonna go get Stealth Rocks up, I could cripple my opposition, and also I expected him to lead up with something to stop my Stealth Rocks. So yeah, and his lead is gonna be Delphox to probably stop my Crocodile and Tirachi potentially. I mean, Crocodile Scarf, of course, but yeah, I don't know what set he is. He could be Scarfed as well. He could be set up a variant of Delphox, but I decided to scout red, but just going for the Flare Blitz. I can kill the at least break the substitute in case he wants to go for that move, and if he doesn't, then I can always check his set. Like if he's Scarfed, then I cannot check his set with Crocodile, but with any other set I can check with Crocodile, so that's fine. But he switched out luckily for me, as I get the Flare Blitz himself against Hexorus, and since he switched in Hexorus, that either confirms to me that he has Healing Wish on this Mesprit, or that he is some kind of wall breaking variant, since if he was a sweeping Hexorus, it would be unlikely for him to switch that in on a Flare Blitz, basically, because he would obviously want to be at full health before setting up. So yeah, but I don't know at this point, so I'm gonna be banking on both the sets still being a thing. He actually goes for the screens with Mesprit. As I switch into Clefable, I kind of expect him to go for a status move, or to go for like a Calm Mind or a U-turn. If he U-turned into Cobalion, it would be completely fine. He would have got Stealth Rocks up, and kind of scared me out, but that would be okay with me. I mean, I would have expected that, and I would have been able to play around that. But that's not kind of what happens, because he sets up screens and I set up my Stealth Rocks for kind of free, as I on the following turn wish out as I get T-Waved. So it's a little bit annoying that I'm T-Waved, but out of all the mons on my team, this is kind of the best mon to be T-Waved, so that's also kind of fine, I guess. As he goes for the T-Wave with his Cobalion, as I switch out into my dedicated check, being Arcanine, so kind of annoying that he has T-Wave on multiple mons. Kind of a good strategy, because T-Wave kind of slows me down and shit, so yeah. Here I make kind of a misplay. I had no reason not to go for the Will-O-Wisp, and I go for the Flare Blitz instead, so kind of a misplay on my end. Forces me to use the Shuka Berry, which isn't the worst thing. It does mean that I can play as safely as I want against the Hexorus. But what it does mean is that I still can get the burn off against the Mamoswine, so it's not all that bad. As unfortunately I'm kind of a low range of health, but I can just heal up the Arcanine with my Clefable. It's a Whisplash and Clefable, and his Mamoswine is burned, and his switch-ins to a Clefable would be likely the Cobalion, which is in fact what he's gonna go for. So, and because he has shown T-Wave so far, I'm not really expecting him to have Stone Edge, and I'm not expecting him to be like an offensive variant. So, if he does, then that's props to him because I wouldn't have expected. It wouldn't be the worst case scenario anyway because I would still have checks to this set. But yeah, I expect him to not go for the Stone Edge. I switch into Orcanine and then he goes for the Taunt. Probably expecting me to have Heal Bell and trying to Heal Bell off the paralyzations on my 2 months that are paralyzed at this point. So Orcanine is at basically at full health, so that's really fantastic. As I am taunted unfortunately, and I go for the Flare Blitz, and that's kind of a bad play on my end. Because now I am kind of set up for his Hexers, which is the money he's going to go into in the following turn, as I cannot break his Lumberry with the Will-O-Wisp, and I don't have any stabs or any moves that hit him for too much damage. So he can basically set up on me, so I was in a little bit of a stalemate right here, but what I end up going for is the E-Speed, as after the E-Speed damage he's in range of the Shadow Sneak damage from Gourgeist, and I also have different checks in Clefable, which is unaware, so it's not really that threatening to Clefable. But yeah, I get lucky and get the critical hit on the first one, and then the second one I get a very high roll. So I actually managed to get out of this situation undamaged. So really lucky on Arcanine's part, and the luck is not gonna stop because I actually managed to avoid the paralyzation and a Rock Slide flinch right here and get the Will-O-Wisp up against the Armaldo. Of course, if I would have gotten those hacks before, then Arcanine would have been dead and Clefable would have been highly weakened. So that's really bad on his end, and it puts me in a really good scenario since I can just switch out and keep this as a fodder. As I just go into Clefable right here. I mean, this guy could be the Stealth Rock on his team. I expect him to be a spinner and I expect him to have Stealth Rocks on the Memswan at this point. Since, I mean, Armaldo, I guess it could have both, but I really didn't expect it to, so yeah. He goes for the Rock Slide. I'm a little bit too hasty right here since I kind of wanted to stop him from getting hazards up or spinning or anything. I kind of went into Crocodile just to pressure him, but Crocodile actually doesn't KO with the Earthquake, which I kind of expected to KO from that range, but Armaldo is apparently bulkier than I expected, and I have to take some damage. Not that bad since I am still really bulky and I don't die to the burned X-Scissor. And luckily for me, he dies to the next EQ and not to the burn, since that wouldn't have allowed me to get a Moxie boost. But I am Moxie boosted right now. So yeah, the opposing Armaldo is gone, and now I have Crocodile in, and he goes into Delphox, basically revealing that he is Choice Scarf. If he wasn't Choice Scarf, that would be a nice bluff, but he is in fact Choice Scarf, so yeah. As I sack off my Arcanine, just scout for what move he wants to lock himself into, and he goes for the Grass Knot, which is completely fine. This is just set up for the Falatios. I know that he has a really safe switching into Cobalion, and since I do not carry the Substitute and I carry the Draco Meteor instead, I know that I'm gonna get T-Wave, but all I need to win basically at this point is some damage on this Cobalion. Since after that I can sweep with, at least I can just finish off the game with my Gourgeist. So that's the game plan right here, so I don't mind getting T-Wave, I don't mind getting weakened, as long as I get damage off on the Cobalion, or preferably even kill it. Which is exactly what's gonna happen, because he doesn't have any switch-ins, and I let this thing go, so I get a kill with Latios. Unfortunately didn't get the sweeping roll, which it was destined to do, kind of, it was meant to be, but that's because I didn't run a Substitute. If I ran a Substitute, it would just have 6 out this entire team, I think, honestly. It would have, I don't think he prepared for that set at all, so yeah, unfortunately I kind of regret not running that set, but it's all fine. I still managed to win this game, a little bit trickier and with a little bit of hacks of course in my favor, but I still managed to win pretty easily. As you can see on the last few turns of the game, he goes to Iron Head, flinches me, so that's the first hex kind of against me, but again it's kind of in his favor to get the hex at that point, so it's not too bad. And I managed to get the Protect off on the following turn anyway, so it's not like it's gonna matter at all. Even the differential is not gonna change because of it. As Jon Snow, the Mamoswine dies to the burn. So actually Arcanine gets, I think, 3 kills in this game, so it put in a massive shift, which is fantastic. And yeah, his last mon is a choice locked Delphox, and if he wasn't choice locked, it would be completely fine as well. I could just win with Scarf Crocodile at that point, or with the Gourgeist Shadow Sneak, so but he turns out to be choice locked, and he goes for the Shadow Ball. I caulk this, and Crocodile can actually live 2 Shadow Balls unless I get critted, but like I said, if I get critted, I still have Shadow Sneak on the Gourgeist, so I figured I could just risk it risk the crit, and just going to put out to get the 5-0 win in my favor. And he doesn't get a crit, and on the following turn, as you can see, he is in fact scrubbed. So I managed to get a 5-0 victory, my second 5-0 victory in the league, and it's only the second week, so 2 5-0 victories, and this one against Dracopion or Brighton Bronzors or King Evanlad. So good game to my opponent. Yeah, basically all I want to say about this game is that I regret not having substitute on Latios. I think that would have completely destroyed this team. So yeah, kind of regret not bringing that, but other than that, I think this team worked out really well, and I didn't expect Arcanine to be so amazing, but it was. And yeah, also I would prefer to have Gourgeist get some kills or explode or anything, so unfortunately that didn't happen either. But I guess I could have played a little bit more risky with Gourgeist and switched it in on a few occasions, since I did have the opportunity to give it some kills and to put pressure on my opponent. But I didn't need to. I didn't need to be put in that situation. As you can see with the 5-0 victory, that's kind of, well, basically saying that I didn't need it to happen. But yeah, in the end I come out with the 5-0 victory, and that's all that matters. Right now I think I'm gonna be first, since with 2 5-0 victories it's kind of unlikely that someone else is gonna beat me to that. So especially since no one, I think the highest differential, the highest win in the first week was a 3-0, so even if that person had a 6-0 in the second week, he wouldn't be, he would still have been second. So yeah, at this point not all of the league games have been played, so I don't know if I'm guaranteed first or if someone else surprised me and I missed something, but yeah, that's gonna be the game. Good game to Dracopion. Check his links in the description down below, and hopefully see you next week, where I think I faced the Osaka Eevees. So never played versus him before either, so that's gonna be really fun to see how I deal with that. So goodbye for now, and hopefully see you next time. And if you enjoyed this video, of course, feel free to leave a like, because that's always fantastic and I always appreciate that. And leave a comment if you have something to say about this game, because I always love reading comments as well. But that's all for now. Goodbye.